What a coincidence! Just as the woman was walking home, she came across Mary again. At this time, Mary was hungry, vomiting and diarrhea. This is often the case. The similarity of the encounter creates empathy between the women. She kindly went up to her and asked, and helped Mary buy water and food. After a brief conversation, Mary gradually lowered her guard. Seeing that Mary had nowhere to go, the woman had to take her home first. Unlike her irritable husband, her daughter seemed warm and welcoming. Although Mary rarely met strangers, but she could sense that the woman in front of her was a good person. Gradually, they talked more and more. Mary also talked about her own experiences. When she was young, her parents had taken her to Africa for a trip, but she was in a car accident. In the end, she was the only one who survived, but unfortunately, she was found by the local mob. Since then, Mary has been imprisoned. She lived a life of darkness. Hearing what happened to Mary, the woman couldn't help but lament. There are really people in this world who are less fortunate than myself. But she wondered how Mary had escaped. But Mary did not tell her in detail. She said that by chance she was saved by a rich man from abroad. She even paid a lot of money to buy herself. That's how she escaped from Africa. When she said this, Mary's eyes revealed gratitude. Although Mike was outwardly torturing her, but it was also a punishment for her. Mary decided to take it in stride, and with that she said goodbye to the woman. Meanwhile, Mike realizes that it wasn't Mary who brought the coffee. He realizes something is wrong. He asks Mary where she is. The maid did not dare to say anything about this, but judging from his reaction, Mike knew it was all his mother's doing. Then he went to Ruth and questioned her, but Ruth didn't panic and said it was just a servant. I told the housekeeper to send him away. Now Mike was in a hurry. He told his men to look for Mary. He even went to the city to look for her himself, but nothing was found. For Mary's sudden departure, Mike actually felt a bit lost. When he returned to the mansion, he grabbed the housekeeper. Who gave you the right to get rid of Mary? Ruth rushed out to relieve the situation. This was her order. She gave the order for Michael not to give the housekeeper a hard time, but Mike didn't care about that. Tell the housekeeper to behave himself. If he couldn't get Mary back, if he couldn't find Mary, then the housekeeper didn't have to work at the mansion. But it was Mike's perverse behavior. It made Ruth even more suspicious. Could her son be in love with Mary? Mike was sitting in the mansion, a little lost, but the next moment a familiar figure approached him. Mike took a look. Mary actually came back of her own accord. What shocked him even more was that Mary opened her mouth and said, "I'm back because I owe you a life. I will not go anywhere until it is paid back." And the stubbornness that Mary showed without thinking seems to be melting Mike's cold heart.